If there's one comment that has been chasing me since the beginning of the year, it's this one. Back in December, I said I'd break down the OnePlus 15 properly, not just review it in isolation, but place it exactly where it belongs. And because this year the wrong choice between these three phones can quietly cost you features you won't even realize you needed, it's finally time to settle it. Right here in front of me, I've got the OnePlus 15, the 15R, and my personal favorite, the OPPO Find X9 Pro, which has been my daily driver ever since it came out. Now, instead of treating the 15 like it exists in a vacuum, I wanted to show you exactly where it wins, where it compromises, and where the OPPO quietly does more. And by the end, I'll tell you which one I would actually buy with my own money. Now, some of you might already know that all three of those phones share roots in the BBK ecosystem, and OnePlus operates under OPPO's broader group today, which is why the software and hardware DNA overlaps. So it's no surprise that they share a lot of the same parts, software, and philosophy. Quite a few of them, actually. For instance, each one boasts a silicon battery north of 7000 mAh, which translates to unbelievable battery life, easily 2 days for most people. The displays are also top tier with screens over 6.7 inches, great brightness, and high refresh rates topping out at 165 Hz on the OnePlus models. Even the styling is similar, at least at a glance, and I think that's a good place to start. And by the way, if you end up enjoying this video, subscribe, because why not? So while the OPPO is technically the most premium device here, with a price tag well over $1,000 depending on where you buy it, I actually find the OnePlus 15 the most pleasant to look at and hold, especially in this sandstorm finish. Personally, I think it's a fantastic looking phone, whether you're comparing it to the Androids of the world or the iPhones. There's something about its proportions, the matte frame that blends into the pack, and most of all, the way that it feels in the hand. Don't get me wrong, the other two phones aren't bad either, but the OPPO feels a bit sharp and less comfortable, less confident in the hand, while the 15R shows off its lower price with those thicker bezels and the mint color if you're going for anything else other than black. Luckily, all of those devices have a lot in common when it comes to software, with Oxygen OS borrowing the best bits from ColorOS. At the heart of it all, they use the same rendering engine, which displays visual elements at the same time instead of one after another, so animations adapt to the speed that it's needed to be and always feels smooth whether you're opening apps, switching between tasks, or just pulling down quick settings. The home screen is packed with features I love, like resizable scrollable folders, expandable icons, and built-in app-specific quick actions that save you time. Flux themes bring dynamic, light-responsive personalization, and Aqua Dynamics lets you see live info without even launching an app. AI Mind from OPPO is rebranded on the OnePlus as Plus Mind, which is the same place where you'll find all your screenshots, voice recordings and transcriptions, contextual info, and calendar stuff all in one place. There are also these system-wide AI tools like Recorder or Writer, stuff I cover in detail in my OPPO ColorOS episode, which I'll link at the end of this one. Long story short, everything is here no matter which phone you pick, and the experience is very iPhone-esque, but with a nice, useful dose of customization on top. Last time I was reviewing the OnePlus 13, I said this: the signature alert slider, which I just read might disappear next year. OnePlus, OPPO, please don't. Well, guess what? No more alert slider, just AI dedicated buttons on all of them, which is a bummer. Ease of use and smoothness are also neatly identical across the board, not just because of the software, but because these are all flagships when it comes to the chips inside and the performance. Sure, the OnePlus 15 is technically the most powerful here thanks to its Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, but even if you go with the OPPO and its slightly lesser MediaTek Dimensity 9500 or the 15R with its lower bin Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 version, you'll honestly have a tough time noticing any real performance difference in day-to-day use. When it comes to camera hardware, the biggest gap between these three really comes down to how ambitious each one is when it comes to the zoom and overall sensor complexity. The OPPO Find X9 Pro clearly sits at the top, rocking the most elaborate system. 4 rear cameras, a 50-megapixel main sensor with optical stabilization, a 50-megapixel ultra-wide, a dedicated 200-megapixel telephoto with OIS, and an extra monochrome sensor. Oh, and of course, that Hasselblad branding. That telephoto alone changes the game since it combines crazy high resolution with optical zoom and extended digital zoom, something neither OnePlus devices tries to even match. You can even add an optical Hasselblad physical telephoto lens which attaches with a special aramid or carbon fiber case, basically turning the OPPO into the ultimate on-the-go camera for events and concerts. I took it to a few of my kids' recitals and I can honestly say it's magical being able to see your kid perfectly from what feels like a mile away. The OnePlus 15, on the other hand, takes a more traditional flagship approach. It's got a triple camera setup with 3 50-megapixel sensors covering the main, ultra-wide and telephoto roles, plus optical stabilization and up to 3.5x optical zoom. It's well-rounded, but definitely less specialized for long-range shots, which you can see if you compare shots taken from both devices. Dropping the Hasselblad name means you won't see some unique things like Hasselblad High-Res and X-Pan, which I actually really like. Meanwhile, the OnePlus 15R takes a much simpler approach, no telephoto at all, just a standard 50-megapixel main sensor and a lower res 8-megapixel ultra-wide, so you don't get the true optical zoom. But honestly, if I had to drop a lens, I'd go with what OnePlus did with the 15R, because when you're traveling and shooting in tight spaces, having an ultra-wide is way more useful than a telephoto, which you can always crop from the main sensor. Video capabilities also reflect this ranking, with both the OPPO Find X9 Pro and OnePlus 15 supporting high-end recording modes, including 4K up to 120 frames per second and advanced stabilization features, while the OPPO further distinguishes itself by offering additional modes such as Pro Video Mode, offering a wider set of specialty shooting options. This is a test using the OnePlus 15 shooting in 4K at 30 frames per second. This is a test using the OnePlus 15R shooting in 4K at 30 frames per second. This is a test using the OPPO Find X9 Pro shooting again in 4K at 60 or 30 frames per second. Front camera hardware follows a similar pattern, with the OPPO using a higher resolution 50-megapixel selfie sensor compared to the 32-megapixel front cameras on both OnePlus models, reinforcing its position as the most camera-centric device amongst the three. So here's something interesting I noticed with the OPPO. If I'm recording at the default using default lens and I switch to one of the maximum options to zoom in, which I think is X7, it does a digital crop, not a proper switch of the lens. As soon as I stop, then it switches, which is good to know if you're at a concert or something that you care about and you want to properly switch to the optimal lens. You might have to stop the recording and start again. Now let's talk about some other omissions here, because I'm sure most of you will care about them. The OPPO's dedicated camera button is nowhere to be found on the OnePlus devices, and when it comes to a single higher tier memory configuration starting at 16 GB of RAM and 512 GB of storage, the OPPO stands tall, but let's not forget that it's more expensive. Oh, and it's actually brighter too. In contrast, the OnePlus 15 positions itself as a more performance-focused device rather than a camera-centric flagship at a more reasonable price. The OnePlus 15R, meanwhile, gives up significantly more compared to both the OnePlus 15 and the OPPO Find X9 Pro, clearly targeting a lower flagship tier. It drops wireless charging entirely and steps down to an 80-watt wireless charging system, which honestly, I'm totally fine with. Additional compromises include a slower USB 2.0 port instead of USB 3.2, and this is actually something people rarely talk about. USB speed also determines whether you can properly output video or, move larger files quickly. The 15R steps down here, while the 15 and the OPPO keep the faster standard. That and the 15R is also not available to cast to an external display at all. Simply charge it. Perhaps most notably to me, what all of these devices are missing is magnets on the back, making them compatible with all of the MagSafe accessories in the world, which are a ton. Now, I know this might sound like nitpicking, but hear me out. The OnePlus 15 is an absolute beauty, and I want to carry it as is. I know for a fact the back is stronger than most of the things that I carry with me on a daily basis, so it can survive scratches, so I'm not worried about it. Rocking it without a case, however, makes it impossible to snap this phone in, let's say, my car, unless I use one of those ugly old-school car stands. The same goes for MagSafe wallets and other magnetic accessories I use daily. The Pixel did it, and it's paying off, and I think if OnePlus and OPPO had done it, it would have been a killer feature. One thing that's especially important for those of you in North America is the fact that OPPO devices aren't officially sold through the usual carrier retail channels. I still wanted to talk about the X9 Pro though, because I know if you're considering a OnePlus, you might have that nagging little voice in the back of your mind questioning the existence of the X9 Pro and whether you truly made the best choice. So, hear me out. If I were to generalize this lineup, I'd say the fine X9 Pro is the photography powerhouse with its flagship camera, biggest battery, and overall heftier presence. The 15R is the affordable runner-up, perfect for those of us who don't necessarily care about the best camera or wireless charging. If you want an easy-to-use phone that is fast and can last days on a single charge, the 15R is a no-brainer. But if you want that sweet spot, that do-it-all-rounder that doesn't shout or scream, but is decent at pretty much anything and is equipped like a Swiss Army knife, the OnePlus 15 is the way to go, and just like last year, it will be my go-to recommendation for a flagship comfortably placed below that $1,000 threshold. If I were to choose one of those devices in front of me, it will be the OnePlus 15 because it's the most complete without being excessive. This is the phone I'd buy with my own money. If you want to learn more about Oxygen OS and Color OS and what makes them arguably the easiest to use and most customizable Android skins, you can check out my dedicated episode right here. Like and subscribe to the channel as well as my newsletter, and as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is E, over and out.